to me. I'm a millionaire. Money better cases. I ain't gotta chase it.
Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? Happy Wednesday to you all. I hope that you've had an amazing day thus far. I am super excited about our show this evening. So, if you are watching me live, go ahead and let me know where you're watching from. Rep your city, rep your country. Let me know where in the virtual building you are watching me from tonight. I'd like to know who's here. Tonight's show is going to be really good. And so go ahead and comment. Let's see who's here. Let's shout you out really quickly and get this ball rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my intro as I always do. My name is Sharita Leon. I went from being a homeless, disabled, single mom to a two-time #1 best-selling author with books selling the bestseller list for over 2 years straight. I'm also a life, relationship, and business coach, an internet marketing strategist, entrepreneur, international speaker, and the protege of the legendary Les Brown, a forex trader and investor, and I empower my tribe to live their God-given purpose while creating wealth and have healthy relationships. I'm also a believer, and my faith is exuded in all that I do. So welcome everyone. So listen, tonight is episode 4, I believe, of the How and Why Network Marketing Show. In fact, it's episode number 3, and I have an amazing guest with us tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce you all to our guest. And first, I want to read her bio. I have with us tonight none other than Dr. Grace Patterson. Dr. Grace Patterson is a family medical doctor in the Metro Detroit area. She is a graduate of Wayne University School of Medicine. She completed her family practice residency at the Detroit Medical Center. Dr. Patterson is committed to providing quality, compassionate personal care using medical and or natural therapies. She has a special interest in all natural treatment of hair loss, thinning, chemical imbalance, erectile dysfunction, as well as healthy living and weight management programs. Dr. Patterson currently is the owner and CEO of Bethesda Holistic Center and partner in several other business ventures. Okay. Bethesda Holistic Center provides medical care and excellence for those who are homebound and seniors age 65 and over. It's her mission in God to provide medical and spiritual care to the whole man, spirit, and body. She is an ordained leader at Great Faith Ministries International, where she has been a faithful disciple under the leadership of Apostle Wayne T. Jackson for over 20 years. She is an intercessor and called by God to minister the gospel to the weak and whole. She actively participates in evangelism and intercessory prayer ministries. Dr. Grace is a pioneer both in medicine and in ministry. Welcome, Dr. Grace.
Thank you. Listening to all of that, it's like, is that really me?
That's you, girl. You're the bomb.com. It is so great to have you here. And so what I like to do in the beginning of this show is I like to share a quote from a legend or someone who has done some amazing things in the network marketing industry. And so today's quote is, "You can't look like a nightmare selling a dream." And that is by Mr. Kenny E. Lloyd. Now, we go with our quote, and I like for the guests to kind of share what their thoughts are on that quote. So it's your go. What are your thoughts on that quote by Mr. Lloyd?
Well, he's telling the because you have to be a walking billboard of whatever you do, be it network marketing or just your life in period. You talked about even being a believer. So you want to at all times represent, so he's right. You can't be going around looking like anything, representing a dream. So I agree with that quote. That was an amazing quote. I like that one.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. I mean, how many times do we see people trying to sell us something, trying to shoot us a dream, and we're looking like, did it work for you? So I totally agree. Now, with that being said, let's move into today's show. I am so excited to have you on. You are a phenomenal woman who has done so many great things, as your bio can tell. But in addition to your medical profession and your dynamic love for entrepreneurship, it's your heart for ministry as well. But tonight, I kind of want to touch on, as a medical doctor who has been doing and practicing medicine for over 20 years, what caught your attention about network marketing?
Time leverage. Being a doctor is basically an active income. And so I am moving in the direction to where I will be seeing patients because I want to, not because I have to. And
Mm,
marketing provides the vehicle for you to have what we call passive income. Doesn't mean that you don't put in the work, but it's nice to do a commercial or do a blurb and then go to sleep and wake up and there's ching ching in your bank account.
yes, Lord.
I think network marketing allows you to make money while you're sleeping. So, being a doctor, you can't make money while you're sleeping. You got to actually be with the patients in their face, be it either face to face or either virtual nowadays with this COVID-19. So, yeah,
Right.
marketing gives you that time leverage, liberty, and as I said, passive income.
That is so good. And that's so true, because a lot of times we don't realize that, yes, it's amazing to be someone of high stature. And because, being a doctor, it comes with a certain, it comes with that, respect, that influence, and it comes with great income as well once you're seasoned. But as you mentioned, it's still exchanging time for money. So you
Yeah.
still have to see patients. I shared on a video that I did a couple of days ago that two of my doctors who had their own practice had to shut down here in New York because of the pandemic, because of coronavirus. And so that means the doctors and their staff were not making money for the whole time their doors were closed. So it's imperative that we realize, both from, someone being a doctor to the average person working a day-to-day job, you're still exchanging time for money if you do not have any leverage in place. And so I'm glad you were able to realize that, because a lot of people can get stuck in the stature and what they're making, and, oh, well, I'm a doctor, I don't do that. So can you explain how imperative it may be for other medical professionals that may be watching to really consider the fact that, hey, how are you leveraging passive income? And maybe you might want to think about this again, right?
Right. Well, first of all, I want to go back to what we were talking about, leveraging your time. And one of the things that drew me to doing this is because anyone, be a doctor, be everyone under the sound of my voice, should have multiple streams of income. So if one dries up, you still have something flowing. Or if one slows down, you still have something flowing and coming in. So being a multi-millionaire, most of them have over 7+ streams of income coming in. So
Mm-hmm.
and multi-million dollar lifestyle and status and a foundation, you have to develop at least good 7 streams of income. And for all the gurus that are out there, they will tell you network marketing is one of them, because you harness the power of many versus just you by yourself. So a network is what it is. So even, let's say, for instance, if you don't have most network marketing have a network system and a commercial, or what I say, um, commercial based arm as well. But the network is what gives you the consistency. Your team is what gives you the consistency. So regardless to whether or not you do a direct sell or not, the network is still generating revenue. So that's what drew me to that. And then I'm also product driven, because I'm
Mm.
make sure whatever I connect myself to, it really works. And I am the guinea pig first.
Right.
And then if I feel that it is something that has worked well for me, then I will figure out a way how to incorporate it in my practice to share with my patients. And so that is what I think everyone should do, even as a doctor. I mean, even as a lawyer. I mean, I'm just being honest here. The way things are happening now, people have to think as if there is no box. You know how they say think outside the box. So
Right.
like there is no box. And so, and come up with creative ideas in the times that we're living in now to generate passive income for sure.
Absolutely. And you brought so many, good points. It's not just a matter of being safe with what you currently have, because we're seeing the world shows us that there's no real such thing as, safety, even in that field. Now, doctors are always going to be needed, obviously, but as you mentioned, it's about the leveraging. Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about the cash flow quadrant and getting to that right side of money. And having the right side of money is, like you mentioned, the leveraging systems and people to ensure that even when you're not making a direct sale, the residual passive income is still working for you because you've leveraged the system of having others to work as in cooperative economics. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, there may be someone watching that, whether they're in the medical field or not, but especially some doctors that think, well, I'm not good at sales. And I've had a doctor, mention that to me before, like, well, I'm not good at sales. I don't think I can do it. But can you kind of touch on that? Did you ever have a fear of, well, maybe this may not work for me. I may not be able to sell this, or maybe I'm not a salesperson. What is the truth and lie in that idea?
Personal development. Okay.
Mm,
Well, because when we go through medical school, we're taught how to take care of patients. We're not taught how to run a business. I think
mhm,
my last year of residency, they had us to sit with different people for like maybe a couple of days or a week to see how the business run. So I would sit with the biller for a week. I would sit with the front office for a week so I can see how the business runs. But that, private practice and entrepreneurship, I was forced into it. It was just like I was just forced into it. It's a long story. You only have a 30-minute show. So as doctors, we're not trained unless we go and get another degree as an MBA or something like that. We're not trained to be business owners. But if you're an entrepreneur, I had to come to realization with the last 3 years, I'm a salesperson. There's
mm.
no way around it. I was in denial. I didn't want to sell nothing. I didn't want to be part of sales or anything like that. But part of my self development, one of the courses that I took says if you're an entrepreneur, you're a salesperson. Because even in private practice, I have to sell my practice. Why come to me than the doctor down the street? What is it about me that I have this niche or have this knack to take care of you better than someone else? That's sales. So you have to really understand the market. You have to understand what you're doing as far as leaving a legacy for you and for those that come after you, as far as your family and that. And so, not only as in regards to network marketing, the principle, I'm now applying that to my private practice. I used to go home to home, door to door. So I started recruiting other providers, mid-level providers, to do what I was doing so I can focus on other areas. So that's the same with leveraging and putting
Mhm.
in position the power of other people to work for you. So you still generating revenue, but you're not actually doing the work. So we have to rethink some things now and then, especially right now, what we're dealing with right now. We have to come up with new ways of doing things. And had I not did network marketing, had I not decided to do things a little bit differently, because I was doing video visits with my high clientele patients.
Mhm.
So I had that already in place. So when COVID-19 hit, I
Mhm.
was like, hey, I can just do it with my inner city patients.
Wow.
Everybody has a smartphone now. So,
Right.
so I was able to segue into seamlessly, because I had already implemented network in my practice already. So you have to rethink things and revisit things. There's no way around it.
Wow, that is so good. I want to say hi to our viewers. I see Amanda's here. Hey, Amanda. Angela's here. Miss Brenda, Miss Liz. Hey, 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 everyone. Make sure you are sharing this broadcast. I know that it's going to be of great value to a lot of people. So make sure that you are sharing the video. And so, you mentioned that the skills really were there. I mean, we do it on a day-to-day basis. You know, a lot of times because we don't realize we're selling, we don't see it as such. I mean, for example, parents have to sell to their children to eat their vegetables, to clean their room. You sold your husband on marrying you. Like we're always selling. You sell your HR department and hiring you for your job. We're always selling. It's more a matter of having perspective. And as Dr. Grace said, also being able to realize personal development. What are the
Yeah.
stories we're creating in our heads that's allowing us to feel as if we can't do something? That's an even bigger issue rather than the fact that you're saying, oh, I can't do it or it's not for me. Now, I do want to touch on the fact that doctors have a lot of influence. And because they have a lot of influence, you mentioned earlier on, you make sure that whatever product you are promoting in the company that you're with, that it works. So I kind of want to touch on how, as a doctor, your influence, when you're telling a patient about a product that you're, referring, how it really holds dear to them because they're most likely going to take what it is that you're advising them. And so share with us how they can be of great benefit to their medical practice, because now there are two different businesses coming together as one to create multiple streams.
Okay, so first of all, you got to, like you said, the influence is there. They trust you. They're there. So most of them, you're dealing with health issues. I, being a spiritual being as I am, you got to understand something. Doctors are like people's pastors and priests. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we know the intricate details of their lives, not only their health, but their family and things that they're dealing with. So whatever that we recommend, they take it to heart and they take it seriously and they really want to get better and they trust you. So your influence is a trust through relationship. That's in anything that we do. If you think about it, just like all the things that you name with your children, your spouse, those are good relationships founded on trust. So
Mm-hmm.
your great influence is that trust factor. So you got to develop that trust and say, hey, when I say I use this and this is how it affected me and these are the results that I have gotten from it. So I really want you to try it. And it's just as easy as that. A lot of the, and then another thing that I tell my patients, because I have from what they call the inner city to high end clients that come in to fly in to get services. But what I tell my low end clients, if not is this: I'm not asking you to spend money that you don't have. I'm asking you to redirect your dollar, because spending your money on something that you should not be spending it on, which is causing your health issues.
Mm.
Oh, those are the things that I try to convey to them. So, like say for instance, if a person has high blood pressure, you shouldn't be spending your money on bacon and pork. So the money
Right.
spend it on bacon and pork, put that aside to buy a supplement or whatever that I have available to you that's part of the networking branch of my practice that will be beneficial for you. And most of them be like, I never thought of it like that. Or if they're a smoker, okay, you're spending $8 a pack. That is what? That's a month. That's like $240 a month. That's
Wow.
$2,600 to $2,900 a year. What can you do with
Mm.
your money? So just redirect your money. They have to think differently and you have to help them to think differently. So, and that is all a part of sales.
That's so good. Redirecting your dollar. That is so powerful because, as you mentioned, a lot of times we don't realize the habits that we've created. We don't realize the money that we actually have. We've just positioned our mindset to believe, well, this is what I put aside for the bacon, or this is what I put aside for the alcohol. Meanwhile, how about we take that and literally put it towards something that can aid our health, that can aid our lifestyle, right? If you are a service-based network marketer, really showing individuals how to redirect their dollars. That is so profound. Now, I would like for you to speak to the person who is in network marketing that would like to prospect a doctor. What are some things that doctors are probably looking at or thinking about, and how should they position their opportunity to pique the interest of a doctor?
Okay, well, first of all, people that come to me in regards to network marketing, most oftentimes I've never had a cold call. It's always someone that I know, and someone, most times, is someone that has influence as well, and someone
Mm,
I trust. So basically, you would have to come from a perspective of knowing that doctor, knowing what they do, and does how that product will fit in their practice. Those are the three things that you would definitely have to know. And then as a doctor, again, like I said, I have to know that the product works. So be willing to sample your doctor. You know,
mm.
be willing to give something to get something in return. And your follow-up, hey, I'm gonna leave you the sample. I think this will be good for your patients. I want you to try it yourself and leave it there for them, or even some of their staff, and let them sample the product and then go from there. That's how I would approach another doctor, because that's how it happened to me.
That's really good. So for those of you watching, sample, people, sample. Don't be afraid to sample. And I tell all the business partners that work with me directly, I let them know that you should have two lists. And one of those lists should be a sample list. And this is a list of people that you know have the influence, that you know that if you sow this seed into their lives and if your product really works, they're going to come back and or refer you to people that actually will join you in business or become customers as well. So sampling is something that you want to do. And if there are any questions for those of you that are watching live, go ahead and comment. Let us know what your questions are. If you would like to ask Dr. Patterson a question, go ahead and comment and let us read it. We have about 5 minutes before this is over. But I like the fact that you mentioned how you are open to leverage, you're open to having generational wealth as well, and really were able to see how you could benefit others from what it is that you have. And so being a product of the product obviously is key, but what would you say to someone who perhaps may have had some success in the industry, but maybe had some failures. And the failures now are outweighing the good that they've either once experienced, but moreover, the good that they can actually give to others in this present day. How would you encourage them?
Well, first of all, I just had this conversation today with one of my good friends where we're talking about the fear of success, and how you have to change your perspective on what you call a failure. A failure should be looked at as a lesson. And so um, I call it, if you know about psychology, Pavlov's law. It's like you ring the bell for the dog for dinner time, and it happens over and over again. When you ring the bell, the dog salivates and ready to eat, but you don't.
Mhm.
That's the same thing with failure. Sometimes it happens over and over and over again. So when it looks like you're about to fail again, you position yourself to receive that and accept that, and know you should just keep moving and keep pushing. Um, Regardless to what it looks like and regardless to what it feels like, you need to do self-assess and self-evaluate, which you call your failure, which should be a lesson. What was the lesson in that? What can you do to improve from what you think is a failure? But most failures are building blocks and stepping stones to get you where you need to be. I'm a prime example of that. I was a teen mom. I had to take exams over. Life happened to me. My daughter was in the hospital at one point in time for 29 days. I had to sit out from medical school, and I in the midst of that, I failed some exams, but I didn't stop. So whatever that you're facing in regards to what you think is a failure, you have to look at the lesson in the midst of it, and it will build your confidence. Confidence will help you understand who you are, and so you can operate and execute the knowledge that you have. So don't look at it as a failure, look at it as a lesson.
That is so powerful. What is the lesson that you can learn from what is the quote unquote failure? It goes back to perspective once again. And also, it goes back to, as you mentioned, being able to have that personal development. And when it comes to network marketing industry, it's really like the mecca of personal development. That I can say for myself has been the greatest advantage that I have had in this industry is being able to really grow personally. I never knew what personal development was before I entered into this industry, and truly it helps you change your mindset and allows you to grow to become who God called us to become. And so with that being said, Dr. Grace, this has been amazing. Before we end, I like to always highlight a superstar in the networking industry. And when I say superstar, it could be someone who just got started and got their first sale, or it could be someone who actually is a legend. And so today, our spotlight happens to be someone that I have great respect for. I'm going to put his picture up here. It's going to be Mr. Kenny E. Lloyd. Today, I am having him to be our network marketing spotlight because just this week we found out that his company Tava is the 33rd fastest growing company in the direct sales industry. So shout out to Mr. Lloyd, who is the CEO and founder of Tava. This gentleman has been able to literally help create over 15 millionaires. He and his wife, Shantae Lloyd, have literally made over $30 million in this industry in the last 5 to 6 years, to be quite exact. And I'm grateful for their sacrifice and the vision that they have that has been a blessing to my life and those connected to me. So with that being said, Dr. Grace, once again, thank you so much for gracing us, pun intended, with your presence today. And I just lastly want to say, for those of you that are watching, don't be afraid to speak to the doctors about your business and or your opportunity, right? They too that have a mindset to grow, that understand leverage, that understand, having residual income like Dr. Grace, are open to the idea. So be willing to go. And as Dr. Grace said, be willing to sample to them as well, and be willing to grow personally so that you have the confidence to go forward and help them change more lives, right? And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Until next time, only believe until the end and go get your life. Be blessed, everyone.
I'm a millionaire, money better cases. I ain't gotta chase it.